Hey guys, happy Fresh Friday. Sorry, take two here. It helps to turn off your notifications when you're doing a live video. So I don't know if you can see this, but my kitchen seems to be a little bit blurry. So not sure what all you can see, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about two healing soups that are super good for you, super immune boosting. We are having a little bit of a cold snap here in sunny South Florida, and anytime it goes below 50, everybody freaks out. We start shivering, they get sick, and so I wanted to talk to you about two things that I'm cooking up in my kitchen today that you can do too. And I know everybody is super busy all the time, and this doesn't have to take long. But one of the things I want to teach you how to make today is bone broth, and how quick and easy this can be. So first of all, why would you want to drink or eat bone broth, right? Bone broth is actually the most popular superfood today. It is so high in nutrients, you guys. It heals your gut lining, it makes your skin glow, it heals, because most problems come from a damaged gut lining. That's probably the best benefit that we can get from bone broth. And because so many things affect our gut lining these days, we just have to really make sure that we heal it. You know, everything from over-the-counter medications and stress and poor eating habits. So many things really deplete our gut lining, and bone broth can really help to heal that. Not to mention, it's super good for a beauty food. So it really helps to build that collagen back in our skin. And it's really easy to make. A lot of people think oh my gosh, I don't even know how to make it. It sounds so intense. But really, I'm gonna show you a lazy man's bone broth, okay? So the best thing to do is, if you have a crock pot, to use a crock pot, right? Because it cooks for a really long time, and you don't want to leave it on the stove when you go somewhere. I mean, it's kind of dangerous, right? So what I would do is just get a crock pot, and then what you want is 2 pounds of, well, the traditional bone broth is actually made with beef bones, and so, but this one I'm going to use chicken, because you can make chicken bone broth, you can make fish bone broth, you can make so many different kinds. But the idea is that the nutrients are all in the bones. So what I use here is a pound of drumsticks, and you want to get them organic, of course, hopefully you get everything right. And then you use a pound of wings and a pound of drumsticks, so you have 2 pounds of bones, and you go ahead and put that in your crock pot. And then what you want to add, and I'll just kind of, like I said, this is a quick lazy man's bone broth. This is easy to do. You want to add, obviously, your mise en place, right? So this is your onions, your celery, your carrots, and you don't even have to peel anything. You can just chunk things up and leave it in these huge chunks, because really all you really want to get is the flavor. You know, you're going to strain this stuff and use it after it's done. Okay, so just throw in some celery and carrots and some onion, and you're just going to strain it because you're just using it for the flavor. Then what you want to do, you want to add a little pink Himalayan sea salt, right? Because those have good sea minerals in them too. That's super good. Oh, I kind of got stuck to it there a little bit. And then I thought I had fresh garlic, but I don't. So, but I always have this minced organic garlic in my refrigerator, and we're just gonna use whatever's left in there. So, unfortunately, I don't have fresh garlic, but you can just throw whole heads of garlic in there, and that would be awesome to do. So, we got garlic, we got onion, we got celery, carrots, and we have our chicken drumettes and wings in there. And then this magic ingredient that you want to add to your bone broth is an acid. So either apple cider vinegar, which you guys know I really like, or it could be lemon juice. And what you want to do is add 2 tablespoons, okay? So that goes right in. And the reason for that is that it really helps to leach the nutrients out of the bones, and that's what you need. You need that acid to really help pull those nutrients, because there's so many nutrients in this bone broth, and that acid helps pull it out. Everything else is just for flavor. Of course, garlic we know is immune boosting, and it's so good for us. So then after that's all in there, basically you just cover it with water. Like, I don't even know, maybe like a gallon of water, but you just you make sure it's covered with water, and then you put it on low for like 12 hours, and you go out and you just go to work and you do what you have to do, and you come back, and then you take it and you can take the chicken off and save that for another dish. And then you put the bones back and you cook it for another 12 hours. So really like 12 to 24 hours is the best way to do it, so that you get the most bang for your buck here, right? And so that's bone broth, you guys. It's so simple. And you could do that with beef bones, and some people roast them a little bit before they put them in for flavor, but that's so easy. But wait, there's more. I'm making a soup here too called immune boosting soup, and I'm gonna give you guys the recipe. But this soup is so super good for you. Ideally, what you would want to use is the bone broth to make the soup. But because I'm going to use this to make another soup called green detox soup, which I'll have to tell you guys about. If you're interested in the detox, I'll have to give you a link so you can watch my webinar that we just launched 2 days ago. And there's lots of great recipes, but these are all detox friendly, and basically they're good for inflammation, they're good for immunity, just so good. They're just so good for you. And so what goes in this immune boosting soup? We have shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms are super good. They're like anti-cancer. They're probably one of the most powerful mushrooms. Okay, and you don't even have to take the entire stem off, because some of the nutrients are in the top of the stem. So you're gonna slice those up. Sorry, I'm going like really fast here because I gotta put this together and get to an appointment. But I wanted to share. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna also add this dinosaur kale. I like the dinosaur kale because it's just, I don't know, it's just easier to manage. But there's different kale. The dinosaur kale is also Lacatino kale, but you take it off the rib and you just cut it. And then you're gonna put that in there, and you put your garlic and celery you're gonna put in there. And you guys, you know, if you don't have a lot of time, you think like, oh my gosh, I can't make all this stuff. It's like so much. They have celery that's already chopped, okay? So no excuse, no excuse. So you can get that celery, it's already chopped. That's one thing done. And if you're really like, I'm not gonna make the bone broth, but I wish I had it, there is something called Bonafide at Whole Foods. It's also a good bone broth. Always best to make your own fresh, of course. There's good, better, and best, as you know I like to say. But the Bonafide bone broth is really frozen at Whole Foods, and you can get that to use as your stock base. And that's got all those nutrients in it too. So then we have baby bok choy, and baby bok choy also is a super food, believe it or not. This stuff is so high in calcium and nutrients, and people are like, well, how do you cut this thing? And it's really simple. You really just want to cut the end off, like that's it. So otherwise, you just slice it up really thin, in thin little strips, and then that's it. So you have like your bok choy, and it looks like this. It's like little strips of bok choy. You throw that in. So you have two different kinds of, as things break, two different kinds of greens. Oh, and the other thing that makes this immune boosting is turmeric. So you could use fresh turmeric. Fresh turmeric is always awesome, but if you don't have fresh turmeric, again, you know, don't throw in the towel because you can't make something because you don't have an ingredient. You can improvise with quick things like turmeric powder, okay? So we got the garlic, we have turmeric powder, we have minced ginger, and you could use fresh. Like I said, fresh is always better, but this soup is so amazing. And then coconut oil. So what you do is you put coconut oil, and then you saute up your onion and garlic. You throw in your shiitake mushrooms, and then you go ahead and put your bone broth in and all your greens, and you just let it simmer for a little bit, like maybe a half hour until cooked. And this is the best immune boosting soup. You guys should always have this on hand. In terms of the bone broth, if you make bone broth, which I highly recommend, you gotta try it, it's so easy. You can keep it in the refrigerator for like 3 to 4 days, or if you freeze it, you can keep it in the freezer for like 3 months. So always good to have, and super, super immune boosting and detoxifying and anti-inflammatory, because let's face it, you guys, we're always, you know, the standard American diet, it just sucks. So we have to make sure that we do the best we can in terms of health, and I'm here to help you. If you want to join the Complete Detox, I would love to have you. And if you're like, detox, that scares me, I don't really know what that's about, definitely check out the webinar, okay? And I hope you guys stay warm, get your beanies out, and whatever. If you don't have a coat, just put a blanket over you and have some soup. That'll keep you warm. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.